Okay, Mr. Mayor, we are now live.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. I'll call the meeting to order. Our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge with respect the history, spirituality, and culture of the Anishinaabe, the people of the three fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations who have inhabited this land from time immemorial. Further give thanks to the Chippewa Saugeen and the Chippewa Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. We also recognize the Métis and Inuit whose ancestors share this land and these waters. May we all, as treaty people, live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all diverse people. Approval of agenda. Is there anything any member would like to add anything to their agenda today? Seeing none? The recommendation is that the agenda be approved as presented. Someone to move to put it on the floor, please. Moved by Paul, second by Barb. Welcome, Madam Clerk. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, a show of hands, all in favor? The motion is carried. Declaration of peculiar interest, you can declare anytime you see fit during the meeting. Minutes of the previous minutes. The recommendation is that the minutes of May 11th, 2021 Township Fire Department Joint Board of Management minutes be approved. Someone to move to put it on the floor, please. Moved by Barb, second by Steve.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Just stop. In the minutes, it lists that Councillor Coburn was at that meeting and she was not. So we need a correction there for that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So noted. The clerk has picked that up. Is there any other discussion on the motion before, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To reflect the amendments to the minutes, if we could simply add as amended to the end of that resolution, please.
That the agenda be approved as amended. I do have it moved and seconded.
Yes, that the minutes of the May 11th meeting be approved as amended.
So be it. I have the same mover and the same seconder, so I'll. There's no discussion. All in favor of the motion before us. Show of hands. All in favor. It is carried. Moving on for agenda, we're now down to delegations. We had none. Public question period. Madam Clerk, was there any questions come in from the public? Seeing none. We no correspondence. We are now down to staff report. The acting fire chief's report. Deputy Chief, I have a. Okay, the recommendation is that the quarterly fire chief's report be received for information purposes. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Carlson, second by Mayor Compass. Andy, you going to speak to this? Or Jeff? Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, we just changed it up a little bit for this report. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just a little bit of a breakdown on the types of calls we're going to in the different parts of the municipalities, whether it's in George and Bluffs, Meaford, or mutual aid. So if anybody had any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I like the format. It's very nicely done. Good report. Any questions from the board? Seeing that, a show of hands, all in favor? That motion is carried. Moving on to our next staff report is on the Treasury Department. The recommendation is that the Q2 financial update, including attendees, be received for information. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Steve, second by Paul. Madam Treasurer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in my report, you will see that we're right in line with budgeted amounts for both revenues and expenditures for 2021. There's nothing alarming from my perspective at the end of Q2. A few things that we've been working on in the finance department for ITFD. We did make a grant application to the Farm Credit Association for the purchase of the Hearst multi-tool. And we haven't received word if we were successful in that grant application yet. So fingers crossed, we get word about that soon. That was a budgeted capital purchase in 2021. So if we do receive that grant, that's a cost savings to the fire department. A couple things to expect for October. I've been busy working on the 10-year capital plan with our chief and deputy fire chief. So we are hoping to present that to the board in October. And then at our November board meeting, we will be presenting the 2022 budget. And that's everything.
Thank you, Cassie. Does the board have any questions of the treasurer? Seeing none, a show of hands, all in favor of the motion before us? That motion is carried. We are now down to unfinished business. We have none. New business. I have a recommendation here that the new business item 11.1 be referred to both ownership councils for consideration and support. Deputy Mayor Carlton, I believe you put this on the agenda. It's the Plymouth Wine report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did ask that to be pulled off a consent agenda at one of our council meetings because I think that there's validity to that, to supporting that motion, to get some extra funding perhaps coming for the fire departments. And I had asked to have it put there so we could get comments from our chief and possibly deputy chief as to what they think about that, whether they think it's worth supporting.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Madam Clerk, would you speak to the motion, please? You're referring this back to both councils for approval of support. Is that what you're doing?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And if I may, yes, that's an option that we may accomplish here today, being that both councils choose to support this resolution or this recommendation. That may either be done by a referral or by a formal motion by this board. But if I may, Mr. Mayor, I believe the Deputy Mayor would like the comments of both chiefs prior to doing so.
Okay, thank you. Before I turn it over to the chief, this motion, this recommendation, I have put it on the floor, Madam Clerk. Would that suffice to, if the board approves that, that be enough, or would you need more?
Depending on the direction of the board, I think we need to have the discussion first. If there's general support regarding having this referred back to the councils, then we can have formal direction to do so.
Thank you. Acting Chief, comments?
Yeah, this is part of that infrastructure that we've received a bit of information about, and I think we should take advantage and support this because, I mean, other departments are going to be doing that, so we might as well support that as well. Things are getting, the training is getting a little more intense, and the equipment and everything, so any advantage we can have for support would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Jeff. The Deputy Chief, any comments?
No, I think the same as Jeff. Mayor, it looks, I'm sorry, I'm just getting to read this now, so I haven't laid eyes on this yet. But what I am reading, it makes sense, and why wouldn't we? So I'd like to maybe look into it a little further.
Thank you, Andy. Does the board have any comments?
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd like to have our fire chief have a comment, an opportunity to comment here if Courtney, there he is.
I would love to hear what we're commenting about. I got kicked out there for about 5 minutes. The internet at my fire hall is not awesome.
Go ahead, Courtney.
It's Courtney. It's the proposed resolution that we're talking about with regard to further support for fire health. And if you haven't had a chance to have a look at it, then I think perhaps we need to make sure that that Courtney does have a chance to read this through and to have a look at it.
Thank
I've
you.
not
Bob.
had a chance to look at it as of yet.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, would it be appropriate to defer this to both our councils? So we can have more time to investigate and look at it, or do you want to pull it and bring it back to another board meeting? Deputy Mayor Carlson?
That's what I was going to question. Do we defer it and bring it back to our next Township
Yeah.
Fire Department meeting so that we can have more information on it then?
Okay, that would make sense.
That's appropriate.
So Madam Clerk, I have a motion on the floor that was read and moved and seconded. We'll just defer that motion.
Mr. Mayor, you have not formally floored the motion, so we simply need a motion to defer this item to the October meeting.
Thank you. That was moved by Deputy Mayor Carlson, the second by Mayor Klumpus, that we defer this until our October meeting. There's no discussion on the motion before us. A show of hands, all in favor? Motion is carried. Opposed? Wonderful. Okay. So we're done with that. We're down to following our agenda. We're down to our next board inquiries and comments. Acting Chief, any comments?
Just want to update the board on a few things. We're getting our training back to normal now. We're starting to get back in bigger groups and divvied up into smaller sizes for the training wise. We did have we got lucky, the privilege of going to Georgian College, did some live fire training a couple of Wednesdays last month. So the guys got to take advantage of that, which is good. We never get enough of that live training. Annual truck safeties have been done. So the trucks have all been safetied and crowned and undercoated. And we're just starting now. We've had our air packs have been certified, recertified. They get that done annually. So that just got completed. And with regards to myself, I'm starting some online training. I had courses under my belt when I started here, and I've got my equivalency with Humber College. So I'm going to continue on with that. Hopefully, within a year or two, I'll start working on my master's through the University of Guelph. So I just thought I would let you guys, let the board know that that's what I'm doing for the training on my personal self. So that's what I've got at this time.
Thank you, Jeff. Does the board have any questions of the chief or the deputy chief? See none?
No.
Okay. We're down to our closed session. We do not have any closed session here today. Our next meeting is October 12th, 2 p.m. And we'll find out then, I guess, whether or not, Madam Clerk, if it's going to be in person or by virtual. We'll just play that by ear.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. As of now, we do have the hybrid option in effect, being that any board member has the opportunity to come in person or continue to participate virtually. Should the October meeting be held in a different format, I will certainly update the board.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we know the business here today. I'll ask for a motion for adjournment. Someone move the motion, please. Moved by Steve, second by Sue. A show of hands, all in favor of adjournment. Motion is carried. We're now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Short and
Good
sweet.
night.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.